Good afternoon, Tarah. Tell us about how the conference is going, the summit, and the focus in particular is on industrialisation of the Namibian economy.
Yes, the NCCI or Namibia Chamber of Commerce and Industry Business Summit started early this morning. Of course, every year we have this summit. It's a summit of the private sector in Namibia. It's attended mainly by top leadership in the private sector, mainly chairmen and CEOs of major businesses operating in Namibia. And every year we have a theme that we are looking at. This year we are talking about industrialization in Namibia, and particularly sustainable industrialization for the Namibian economy. We have a vision as a country. We have an ambition to be an industrialized economy by the year 2030. And we need to start now industrializing the Namibian economy so that by the year 2030, we'll see an industrialized Namibian economy. This morning, we started off with the opening by the Director General of the National Planning Commission, Mr. Tom Alwendo. He emphasized the government's role in the industrialization, but particularly the role that can be played by the private sector. We heard the president of the chamber speak already, and we'll be looking later on during the day a more detailed explanation and discussions on the industrial policy that was developed last year and adopted this year by the Namibian government, which will be basically be the guiding tool for Namibia as far as industrialization is concerned. And we'll also be looking at three key themes within industrialization, and that is really the issue of energy, which is critical to building industries and sustaining industries, the issue of logistics and transport, which we'll also be looking at later on after lunch, and of course the issue of financing industries in Namibia will also be coming a topic later on in the summit. And of course, the summit will then conclude with some blueprint by the private sector as far as their role is concerned in the industrialization process in Namibia.
Tarah, you have to start somewhere with industrial development. Industrialization is a very broad topic, obviously. You must have some ideas on where the first steps would be and where you will be in, say, 5 years from now. You have certain advantages in the Namibian economy. You have fisheries, for example. You have offshore mining. There's increasing exploration for oil and minerals off the coast. There's a tourism aspect. So you build on that, but what other things are you going to do first, or do you expect to be done partly as a result of this conference?
Well, apart from Vision 2030 as a document that we have, we also have 5-year development plans as a country. We call them NDP. Now we are preparing for NDP 4, which will be implemented from the next financial year, government financial year, starting April 2013. We will have NDP 4. Now, NDP 4, which is taking 5 years, is looking at targeting specific industries which need special attention for us to move with industrialization. So we have faced a Vision 2030 in a number of phases, so that 5-year sort of phases, and so that by the year 2030, we will have then achieved specific milestones within 5 years. Yes, we have existing industries. We have fishing, we have mining, we have tourism, we have agriculture, we have transport and logistics and other service industries. But we would like to see a bit more investments in agriculture. We would like to see more investments in agro-processing. We would like to add more value to our fish, more value to our minerals. We are, of course, looking at oil and gas exploration, which is taking place. But our main focus really is to see to it that we have a lot of manufacturing taking place so that by the year 2030, we will have achieved 80% of our GDP coming from manufacturing and services industries, and 70% of our of our export receipts basically coming from manufactured products that we'll be exporting. We are looking at a number of markets within SADC, within Africa, but also beyond Africa. But of course, Africa is emerging as a significant market for the world, and Namibia is looking at this huge market in Africa that we have here as a potential market for our products.
You are a big country with a very small population, and in that sense you're far from everywhere. Windhoek as the capital is far from everywhere. So transport and logistics becomes more important than in most countries. There has been talk of a big Trans-Kalahari corridor where you've got major highways and new railway lines linking you. It's a bit of chicken and egg, isn't it? Which comes first? Do you have the growth which then demands the transport and logistics network, or do you have to get that in place first in order to attract the investment?
Well, we have already been working very hard on transport infrastructure. We have the Trans-Kalahari Highway, the Trans-Kalahari Corridor, but we also have the Trans-Caprivi Corridor. The Trans-Kalahari Corridor is linking Namibia to Botswana and South Africa. The Trans-Caprivi Corridor is linking Namibia to Zimbabwe, to Zambia, Zimbabwe, DRC, and then we have Trans-Kunene linking us to Angola. So all these, our neighbors, are also linked to our transport infrastructure, either by road or by rail. And we have done a lot of work since independence 22 years ago. A lot of investments have gone into the upgrading and expansion of transport infrastructure and logistics infrastructure. At the moment, we are expanding the port of Walvis Bay so that this port can become deeper and bigger. We have reclaimed a part of the land so that we expand the terminal at the port. So we have already started basically investing in infrastructure. We are not waiting for investments to come. We are basically building in anticipation for the investments to come. We are very sure investments will come. But we also want to place Namibia as a strategic player in logistics and transport in the region. And we have seen a number of opportunities. We have many neighboring landlocked countries which can make use of our port. We have offered land for building inland container terminal for a number of our neighbors like Botswana, like Zambia, like Zimbabwe, and DRC very soon will also be given a piece of land where they can build their own inland container terminal for their goods. So we are servicing also the regional market as far as transport and logistics is concerned, and we believe this is going to be a key player in our industrialization efforts.
That was Tarah Shaanika, who is CEO of the Namibian Chamber of Commerce and Industry.